Hey everyone, and welcome to the results video of the Rocking Horse Ride Creation Contest. Now, for this contest, all the players had to create a ride like this one, a gentle ride, where guests ride on horses that rock back and forth along the track. Now, you can find these at many real parks, and I believe the actual manufacturer of the ride calls these the Pony Track Ride. Now, we got 13 entries for this contest. In this video I will show all of them to you, and I'll finish the video by announcing who's the winner of this round. Alright, in 13th place we have this entry from Mercy Faye. Mercy Faye made this nice little horse ride around this pond. Now, I quite like the track layout. It does have a lot of turns in this section, and since these horses use the log bumps track or the rapid track from the river rapids, they can only rock back and forth on these straight track pieces. So maybe if there were a little bit less or fewer turns here, we could probably see some more rocking action over here. So that's just a tip that I have when you're building a ride like this. Now, I do think there's some nice decorations around this ride. You can see these huge carrots here, some gardens, and this tree with a snake around it. Also this tower here, which says grain silo, so it's probably a grain silo. I do think some extra decorations along the track maybe could have been nice. I do like that there are some zebras over here. Also a little parking lot here. Here's a place where guests can pick some apples. I believe there's also some hidden candy apple stalls here, which is a nice detail. Yeah, overall I think it's a pretty nice entry. Okay, the next entry is from Inferno the Fox. Inferno the Fox made this pretty dense park. It seems to be really crowded, kind of like Efteling today when the new ride opened. But yeah, over here we see the Rocking Horse ride from Inferno the Fox. And he actually used the motorbike vehicles instead of the horse vehicles, which was allowed, of course, according to the rules. Players could use any of the steeplechase vehicles. And I think it really works in this setting. It kind of makes it look like one of these dirt bike tracks. And that also makes makes it make sense that the vehicles rock back and forth. I think that's pretty cool. Now, I do think maybe this part of, or this area could have maybe used a bit more decorations. Maybe some barrels along the track, or maybe some abandoned cars or something, or maybe a monster truck somewhere in the middle. I think that could have made it a little bit nicer. Now, I quite like how dense this park is. There are also some things which I think could have been improved a bit. This roller coaster here in the corner, I think the amount of fencing around it is maybe a little bit excessive. Probably only the lower fence could have been enough. And also there's a parking lot here. When you make a parking lot, maybe it's better to make these spaces which look like they would fit one car instead of making it all this big road. Yeah, there's plenty of examples you can use to find how to make a nice parking lot in this game. Right, the next entry is from LOL69, and he created this park which you see over here. Here we can see one of these typical old corkscrew coasters. So this one has one loop and then a double corkscrew at the end before it returns back to the station. Pretty typical layout for this kind of coaster. I think LOL69 actually did quite a nice job on this coaster. I quite like the way it looks. Also has some nice supports. So love this ride here. I believe it's a bumper car ride with where people can sit on these raptors. However, since these raptors are not powered vehicles, they won't actually move around. The players will just sit on it and spin around. Maybe not the best choice for one of these kind of rides. Now, and then of course here in the corner there's also this Rocking Horse ride, or in this case it uses the Raptor vehicles from one of the expansions. Now, layout, I think it could have been decorated a bit more. I do think the decoration that is around here is pretty funny. You can see these big footprints here. Also this guest who seems to be scared by this dinosaur. Some of these guests actually have really goofy animations. I do think, well, since this ride has quite a bit of straight track, LOL 69 definitely could have fit more of this of these track elements which actually make these raptors rock back and forth. So right now on most of this straight track they don't actually rock back and forth, so that definitely could have been improved. Okay, the next entry is from Gas or Gas Mugen. I believe he's a newcomer on my Discord, and I was super impressed with his entry. Now, my personal score for this entry was much higher than most people rated it, but yeah, I'm only one small part of the average score. Anyway, yeah, what really impressed me about his rides, they're pretty much all some kind of shoestring. So for this horse ride, the station is actually on this diagonal part, which is pretty tricky to do actually. Now, and I think this ride is also pretty nicely decorated. You can see these decorations all around the track, and yeah, I think it's really nicely done. I really like the way that Gas did this horse ride. Now, there's also this disco coaster, which I think is also done in a really impressive way, also on a diagonal. And I think it looks really nice also with these supports. And I also love this flat ride here in the corner. Not really sure what this kind of ride is called again. Maybe someone in the comments can help me out. I actually rode one of these. But yeah, basically you'll have to imagine there's arms in between here. And these vehicles just keep interlocking like that. The rides usually look pretty... they're usually pretty fun to watch. But yeah, I thought for a first entry, this entry was really impressive. Okay, here's the entry from 73 and Banan Fanat. I will actually have to go up in the sky a bit. And here you can see most of their entry. Yeah, I think it looks great. It's this platform which sits in the sky above the land. Now, it actually looks really nice, but what I really hate is that because it's so high up, it's impossible to see all of the entry from some angles. Well, from most angles actually. I cannot scroll more to the top left of the screen here. Same from this angle. I cannot see the top of the entry here. From this angle, there's the same. Only from this angle we get a proper view of the entry. So yeah, that's definitely something that made me score it a little bit lower. But yeah, I do think the buildings that they created here, I think they actually look great. I love these structures here on top of this building. Also the little gardens in between on top of these pipe pieces. I think that looks great. And yeah, then there's of course this horse ride which goes in between. I like that there's different levels here as well. You can see some queue under here. I think all in all, it actually looks pretty nice. Yeah. I forgot that I cannot see the entire. Let me just zoom out. But yeah, I think it's definitely a step up for this pair of players, and I think it's really one of the best entries they have ever done. Hey, here's the entry from BE Player. BE Player made this beautiful landscape. With all these forests, lots of these rocks in between, and yeah, just a beautiful landscaping here. But I also love the way that the BE Player made this horse ride here. I think it just looks really nice here in this beautiful landscaping. Also the color in this entry is just really nice. This red sand usually works pretty well. Also in between foresty sections. I definitely think people should use this red sand more. Yeah, I think this horse ride looks amazing. The scenery around this horse ride also looks great. I love all these little scenes in between all these little buildings. So a little viewing area here for the guests. The ride even has a little indoor section with a cutout in the building. I think that also looks great. Here, a little building, some dynamite. Yeah, it's just a wonderful horse ride. There's also some other rides on the plot. Here we can see a big inverted coaster. It does look a little bit squished in since it follows the map edge quite closely. I do think it has quite a nice layout. There's also a little tower ride in the corner here. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful entry from BE Player. Okay, the next entry is from Horror Girl. Horror Girl used the palette from one of the earlier entries, well, from an earlier round. It probably was a few years ago even. But yeah, it was from A Nightmare Before Christmas. And I believe Horror Girl used the same theme. You can also see a moon here in the clouds. It's quite a spooky entry. We can see lots of these pumpkins. And yeah, this ride also uses the Racing Raptors vehicles, which I think could be a good choice here. Now, I really like the atmosphere in this entry. I love the way that Horror Girl did the foliage here. I think the foliage actually looks incredible. Love that it's pretty dense here at the edges, and here around the ride it's more, yeah, the foliage is a bit shorter, a bit more thin. There's some really nice details here. I love for these eyes right next to the track. That's just really cool. Also, the ride just travels in between these bones. There's also these spooky pumpkins here. Yeah, it's all just done really nicely. And the ride also has a little indoor section. And we can look inside here. And you can see this, yeah, all these skeletons here. I think even though these skeletons are very goofy, some of the expansion scenery is really bad. I think here for this indoor section it actually works pretty well. Yeah, also a little pond here with a bridge and then the horses or the raptors going underneath. Here another section with some really nice buildings. I definitely think Horror Girl really stepped up her game in this round. It's wonderful work. Okay, the next entry is from Stjernerev. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He created this horse ride that's over here. It has this big castle here, which the horses travel through. And what I like about this ride is that there's also this little jousting section over here. The horses don't actually rock back and forth here, but I'm pretty sure that that was a conscious choice. Now over here is also some other themed sections. Looks like a little section with some ruins. Here's a medieval town. Here's an icy castle. Here's a section where they travel through all these different carnivorous plants. Yeah, there's just lots of beautiful little scenes to this ride. And I think it's really nicely done. You also see one of these rides here, which I made a tutorial for. Also fun to see how these penguin vehicles are used here. Well, yeah, it's really nicely done here. You can see a medieval town here with lots of different shops. And then over here in the corner there's also a castle that's really nicely done. Yeah, I think Stjernerev made a wonderful first entry. Okay, next entry is from TechnoKiwi921. Now, he said he did rush his entry a little bit, but I do think it actually looks really nice. So here you can see the horse ride. Now, he actually doubled up the track with some single rail coaster track beneath it. I think that actually makes for a really nice combination. Now, there are quite a few turns or large turns in the track, so we don't actually see the horses rock back and forth that much. So maybe that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. But I do think it looks really nice. You can see also this beautiful bridge here. There's some more bridges, some waterfalls under it. Yeah, that's just done really nicely. There's also some other interesting rides on the plot. Here you can see this spiral coaster. I quite like this propeller, or it's actually a wind vane, which sits here in the middle. I quite like how it's made up of two parts that are both spinning. And over here we also have this little train ride which travels around here. Although I'm not really sure if these really tight turns are actually a good idea. It does look a little bit weird with these large vehicles traveling through them. Yeah, overall, I think it's a really nice looking entry with a great atmosphere. Okay, next entry is from Tall JK26. And Tall JK26 made this entry. I believe in the story it said something like it was inspired by Rivendell. Now, I think the landscaping in this entry is wonderful, especially these waterfalls here. They look really impressive. Also like these arches above the waterfall. Yeah, that looks great. So love these paths here, which travel in front of this river and into these tunnels. Yeah, the landscaping in this entry is just fantastic. Also some really nice decorations over here. And of course there's also the horse ride, which starts inside this building here. In the back we can actually look inside of the building. And I believe over here is where the station for the ride is. So yeah, the ride travels back and forth several times here over the water. I believe it travels into the tunnel here. And then finally somewhere over here it pops out again. And that also travels over the paths here around this structure. Now for a gentle kids ride, I do think it may be a little bit high off the ground here. That's just a minor criticism that I would have with this entry. But other than that, I think it looks wonderful. I especially like this part of the building here. That looks amazing. Okay, then in third place we have the entry from Lurker. Lurker made this wonderful little park called Pony Playland. Looks like it's just a kids park with a merry-go-round here in the center. Also a small Ferris wheel. Here's an even smaller carousel. Now I really like the colors that Lurker used here. I think they work together really well. Now and there's of course also a horse ride in this entry. I quite like how Lurker put these barrels under the track to act as custom supports. That's just really neat. But yeah, other than that, the ride is also decorated really nicely. The horses travel around this little castle here. That just looks great. Lots of these little buildings along the track. Mr. Bones, of course. A little mine section here. Here's a little sheriff town. Here's a sheriff and here's a bandit. And maybe there's a little shootout going on here. And yeah, other than that, also some nice stuff here in the background. I think that's really nice. It's a little parking lot. Lurker also used lots of different materials here for the roads. Maybe it was to make it look sort of like some patchwork. Now, yeah, I do think it works pretty well in some places, but in some spots, like the parking lot, it may look a little bit too much like a checkerboard. So it might be wise to try and look for materials that have the same kind of textures, or maybe tone it down a little bit. But overall, I think Lurker made a wonderful entry. Alright, there's just 2 entries remaining. I will first show both of them, and after that I will reveal which one is the winner of this round. Okay, the first of the possible winners is this entry from InError predicting a vault. And the story was something like a gentle horse ride in Atlanta City. What could go wrong? Now, the ride is called The Walking Dead Atlanta City. So I'm assuming this is a reference to something from The Walking Dead. I haven't seen the series myself. I do know some people who used to watch it a lot. Always a very creepy atmosphere. But yeah, I'm assuming this is an actual scene from the series. Yeah, first off, InError predicting vault actually made it permanently rain in this park, and I think the atmosphere here is just great. I think the rain actually really adds to the atmosphere in this park. Well, you can see lots of stuff burning. You can see burning buildings. Here's a derailed train. Looks like this bridge here partially collapsed. Still see some tracks here hanging out. And a train that actually fell down. Yeah, I think that that looks great. It's just done so nicely. You even used the transparent color here for the windows of these vehicles to make them look more see-through. Looks like there's actually a guest inside of this inside of this vehicle. And he made them really slow to make them look like zombies. That's just so great. Looks like a little graveyard over here with the guest hanging from the tree. Yeah, it's just so wonderful. You can see all these cars which are parked here haphazardly or crashed or whatever. This gas station here is actually the station for the ride. And there's also this coaster which is tucked here in the corner. Looks like it's very well guarded. Yeah, it's just an amazing entry from In-Error Predicting a Fault. Really nicely done. Okay, and here's the final entry. This is the entry from Naughty Dreamland and Low Poly Surf. And together they created this entry. It's called Into the Unknown. Now, I forgot which... I believe that it was a television series or a cartoon which this entry was based on. I forgot the name. But yeah, over here we can see the Beast. It's actually a character from this series. I think it's really nice how they portrayed this character. That's really nicely done. Actually, what I really liked was how they did these pumpkins here in the grass. So this is actually one of these lamps from the Asian set. So what are they called again? Yeah, ball lanterns. And they made the stick, which they normally attach to invisible. And I think it works great for pumpkins. That's just a really great find. Now you can also see all these farms around, all these trees in the autumn colors. Yeah, it's just the entry just looks incredible. I love the way this building looks. It looks really nice. Also see these hedges in these different shapes. Also this giraffe colored green to make it look like it's made out of hedges. And inside this building here, there's some other scenes. There's these dark creatures flying around. This would probably be a pretty scary part for people riding this ride. Yeah, I just love how these horses travel throughout this entire land. And everywhere they go, you just see beautiful scenes. Yeah, Low Poly Surf and Naughty Dreamland did an incredible job. By the way, I am going through these entries quite fast. If you want to see them in more detail, you can download these entries from my Discord server. You can find a link to my Discord server in the video description, and it's completely free. Alright, now it's time to reveal which one of these last two entries is the winner of this round. Is it this entry from Low Poly Surf and Naughty Dreamland? Or is it the Walking Dead entry in Atlanta City from In-Error Predicting a Fault? And the winner of the Rocking Horse Ride contest is... In-Error Predicting a Fault. Now, the scores of these last two entries were quite close together. Of course, only one person can be the winner, and in this case, it's In-Error Predicting a Fault. Now, I already said the atmosphere in this entry is amazing, and I just absolutely loved this entry as well. Now, I was really impressed by the quality of all the entries in this round, especially by the entries that were made by people who joined one of my contests for the first time. Also quite a few interesting shoestrings from some player. So yeah, I was really impressed, and yeah, I think it's great what all these players created in these entries. Really a wonderful work. Now that's going to be it for this contest. If you liked this video or if you liked watching these entries, please like this video. It would really help out my channel. I would love to hear in the comments which one of these entries is your favorite or which one you think should have scored a bit better. And yeah, if you want to see more of these videos, you can also, of course, subscribe to my channel. Okay, a new contest will start soon. If you want to join one of these contests, simply join my Discord server. You can find a link in the video description. And everything else is explained there. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.